Imagine waking up one morning and seeing the world not through your own eyes, but through the eyes of your cat. Suddenly, colors appear different, sounds are clearer, and even the slightest movement in the room instantly captures your attention. For us humans, this experience is hard to imagine. But this is exactly how cats perceive their surroundings every single day. Their senses aren't simply weaker or stronger than ours. They are attuned to a completely different reality, a reality that deeply shapes their behavior, their needs, and even their feelings toward us. If we want to understand why cats are the way they are, we have to try to see through their eyes and with their senses. And that actually starts with something very simple. For us humans, the world is colorful: red, orange, yellow, blue, colors everywhere. Visual perception is extremely important for us. For cats, on the other hand, the world's vividness is greatly reduced. They mainly distinguish between shades of blue and green. Red and orange, however, blur into a rather inconspicuous gray or brown for them. A bright red ball that looks striking and exciting to us is little more than an unremarkable circle to a cat. For them, contrasts are much more important: light and dark, movement and stillness. And this is exactly where the special strength of cats' eyes lies. They are absolute masters at detecting even the slightest movements. A small twitch in the grass, a flutter of wings in the corner of their eye. Things that we might not even notice immediately catch their attention. It's as if every movement is outlined with a colored pencil for them. And of course that has to do with their history and their genetics. Cats are hunters. Their eyes are made to spot prey. For them, it doesn't matter whether a flower is red or yellow, but whether a mouse is trying to sneak away in the grass below, or if a wolf is waiting for them behind the next bush. But the real magic of cats' eyes unfolds when the sun goes down. For us, the world quickly becomes blurry in the dark. The outlines start to blur. At some point we can hardly make out anything at all. For cats, however, this is when their eyes truly shine. In the truest sense of the word. Their retina is structured in such a way that it can capture even the tiniest bit of light. Additionally, cats have a reflective layer behind the retina, the so-called tapetum lucidum. It reflects the incoming light back onto the sensory cells, turning their eyes into highly sensitive night vision devices. Even the smallest amounts of residual light are completely sufficient for cats to see clearly thanks to this reflective layer in their eyes. And that's exactly why cat eyes glow so mysteriously when illuminated in the dark. While we stumble around uncertainly in the semi-darkness, cats move smoothly, precisely, and confidently. They can hunt, play, or simply roam curiously through their territory at night. For them, darkness is not a barrier, but a stage full of possibilities, promising adventure and even offering protection at the same time. The feeling that cats have at night is fundamentally different from that of humans. Fear of the dark? A queasy or oppressive feeling? Cats don't know any of that, because at night they are the hunters, not the hunted. But cats don't rely solely on their eyes. Their hearing is another masterpiece of nature. While we humans can hear sounds up to about 20,000 Hz, cats perceive tones that are almost twice as high, up to over 60,000 Hz. This means they can hear the faint scratching of a mouse underground, the rustling of an insect in the grass, or the high-pitched squeaking of a baby mouse, sounds that are completely inaudible to us. Their ears function like movable antennas. They rotate independently in different directions and can pinpoint the exact location of sounds. And this very way of hearing also shapes their everyday behavior. A noise that seems trivial to us, the creak of a piece of furniture, a dull sound from the next room, can be a warning signal for a cat. At the same time, they perceive many sounds that we don't notice at all and react accordingly. Sometimes attentive, sometimes curious, sometimes with apparent nervousness. It gets even more fascinating when we think about their sense of smell. For cats, the world is a map of scents. While we might notice the scent of flowers or food, a whole library of invisible information opens up to them. Every scent tells a story, where another animal has been, what mood it was in, whether a territory is already claimed or if danger is near, but also whether you are stressed or if you petted another cat or a dog before coming home. Cats also have the Jacobson's organ in their palate, which allows them to analyze scents even more precisely. That's why they sometimes sniff with their mouths slightly open and a strange expression on their face. They draw the scent deep into this organ, a process called phlemen. This creates a perception that is a mix of smelling and tasting, something we ourselves can hardly comprehend. In tomcats, phlemen is especially used to take in sexual pheromones from the air. This way, they can immediately sense whether a female is ready to mate. For cats, a room is not just a space, but a network of scent trails. Every corner, every object carries information. And that's exactly why they react so sensitively when a new smell suddenly appears. Be it another animal, a new piece of furniture, or an unfamiliar perfume. And then there are the famous whiskers, an indispensable tool for the cat. The vibrissae, as they are called in technical terms, are much more than just long hairs on the face. They are highly sensitive sensors, deeply anchored in the skin and connected to delicate nerve endings. Even the slightest breeze is detected by them. This allows cats to sense obstacles in the dark, judge distances, test the width of openings, and even perceive the breath of a nearby animal. But whiskers also play a role in social interactions. A relaxed cat holds them loosely to the side. An excited cat points them forward, a silent signal that can tell us a lot about their mood. If we now consider all these senses together, it becomes clear a cat's home is not just our living room or our kitchen. For them, it is a territory, a complex system full of scents, sounds, movements, and impressions. A chair is not just a piece of furniture, but a vantage point. A carpet is not simply a floor covering, but perhaps a familiar scent trail that provides a sense of security. Even a windowsill is more than just a place to doze. It is an observation post from which the outside world appears lively and exciting. A tilted window makes their whiskers vibrate and brings in interesting scents. Cats don't just see the world with their eyes, but with all their senses. Their entire DNA is geared towards survival, reproduction, and obtaining food. Even if, in a human household, they rarely have to do these things themselves. A luxury that our domesticated cats are more than happy to accept. Feeding is not simply about providing for cats. It is a ritual, a moment of connection. When a cat shows up punctually at mealtime, it is not just showing hunger, but also trust. In nature, cats are hunters. Even when they are full, this instinct remains alert. That's why they like to play with prey or with toys that imitate prey. This shows us that food is not just a source of survival, but also an emotional anchor and a symbol of closeness and security. When a cat knows it can rely on us to be provided for, its view of us changes. It makes us their provider. It makes us a friend who shares their precious food with them. So eternal gratitude would be appropriate, wouldn't it? But cats often seem enigmatic, almost mysterious. Sometimes they are affectionate and cuddly, and the next moment they withdraw and want nothing to do with us. But there are important reasons behind this behavior. Their perception is so sensitive that they constantly react to even the slightest changes. Changes that we don't even notice. An unfamiliar smell can trigger insecurity, a loud noise can cause stress, while a familiar place can provide a sense of security. Joy, fear, curiosity, and caution are often closely intertwined. That's why cats seek out places to retreat, spots where they feel safe when the world becomes too much, too unpredictable, or too uncertain. At the same time, however, they also need stimulation, movements, sounds, scents that spark their curiosity. Because everything in their bodies is designed for these stimuli, this alternation between tension and relaxation. This balance is crucial. If these stimuli are missing, if she can't see anything darting by, feel a breeze, smell interesting scents, or chase after anything or anyone, she sinks into boredom and can even break down because of it. When cats seem distant or moody to us, it's often because we don't understand their language. For them, every behavior is part of their strategy to master their world. What we perceive as stubbornness is often an expression of self-protection or heightened sensitivity. A cat that doesn't want to be petted right away isn't saying, "I don't like you," but perhaps, "I need to feel safe right now," or "I'm noticing so many other interesting things at the moment. I'm far too excited to be petted right now." Anyone who truly wants to understand cats must try to see their world with their colors, their sounds, their smells, and their feelings. If we learn to pay attention to their signals, respect their retreats, and take their rituals seriously, trust will develop. In this way, the cat becomes not just a pet, but a partner in a relationship based on respect and mutual understanding. Cats are not little humans in fur. They are independent beings with a completely unique perception. Their world is complex, sensitive, mysterious, and fascinatingly foreign to us. Every cat experiences its surroundings in its own way. Some are brave and trusting, others more cautious and distant. But all of them follow the same inner compass, the senses that explain the world to them. When we understand this, a door opens for us to a deeper relationship. We realize that a drawer in the dresser can be more than just a sleeping spot, that feeding is more than simply satisfying our cat's hunger, that a quiet withdrawal does not mean disinterest, but rather a need for security. Anyone who views the world through a cat's eyes even once discovers a reality full of mysteries. A world that is completely different from our own, even though we live in the same house and have the same things around us. And it is precisely in this otherness that the fascination lies, making cats so unique to us. Unfortunately, the needs of cats are far too often misunderstood, which is one of the reasons why they so often break down inside. But that's a whole other topic. If you like, feel free to watch my video on this topic. I'll display it for you here.